Mm. Jai Guru, Jai Guru, Jai Guru, Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. So welcome everybody again to our recitation of the Sri Ram Charita Manasa of Tulsidasa Goswami, translated by Reverend A.G. Atkins in uh, metric verse. So before I begin, as Mangala Charana, Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaye Sadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tad Bhaktaya Namo Namaha Ramam Lakshmana Purvajam Raghuvaram Sitapatim Sundaram Kakutstham Karunamayam Gunanidhim Viprapriyam Dharmikam Rajendram Satyasandham Dasaratattanayam Shyamalam Shantamurtim Vande Lokabhiramam Raghukulatилakam Raghavam Ravanari Dakshine Lakshmano Dhanvi Vamato Janaki Shubha Purato Maruti Ryasya Tang Namami Raguttamam Ramaya Ramachandraya Ramabhadraya Vedhase Raghunathaya Nathaya Sitaya Pataye Namaha. So we're continuing with the Balakanda of Tulsi Ramayana, and we have dealt with the wedding of Shiva and Parvati, and now in their honeymoon, Shiva and Parvati are conversing. So she asks some questions about Rama. Is this Rama the same as the Rama that you meditate on, who is the supreme absolute Brahman? Is that the same Rama as this Rama who's wandering around lamenting, looking for his wife? So he says, where was I? What page did I say? 152. 141. Yes. Okay. So Ramakatha Sundara Karatari Sangsaya Vihaga Uravinahari. The story resembles the clapping of hands. Like birds from the fields, all our doubts it disbands. This axe cuts this evil age down like a tree. So reverently list to my story and me. Divine scriptures sing Rama's name, birth, and days, his numberless virtues, his deeds, and his ways. As Rama himself is the Lord without end, so his virtues and fame entails numberless blend. Yet, knowing your love as my mind sees and feels it, I'll tell you his story as scripture reveals it. So natural and simple, the questions you're raising, the saints delight in them. To me, they are pleasing. But one thing you said must displeasure evoke, although you in error and ignorance spoke. You ask, he whom scriptures and saints contemplate, unknown other is he, or the one incarnate. To such things 'tis base minds that give ear and tongue, by demon delusion ensnared, blasphemers and far from God, seeing no difference when falsehood and truth are compared. Unfortunate, ignorant, blind in their error, a thick sensual film overspreads their mind's mirror. Lewd, treacherous, willful against all restraints, they can't even dream of the company of saints. 'Tis these with no knowledge of welfare or hurt, who scriptural doctrines and teachings pervert. with lenses impure, or bereft of their eyes. For such Rama's vision can never arise. They cannot distinguish between right and wrong. They gibber and jabber away all day long, misled by divine error. Aimless they wander. To them 'tis no sin, evil, vain words to squander. They're sensual, devilish, worldly, and mad. From such men no sensible speech can be had. Whatever they do is in wild, drunken craving. No heed should be paid to their folly and raving. On such thoughts now let your mind fasten. Your doubts put away. Rama's feet humbly worship. Give ear, mountain princess, and listen to words that like sunlight dispel error's darkness. Twixt finite and infinite there is no difference, so say all books and men worthy of deference. He, the ineffable, infinite, holy, finite becomes for his love of the lowly. Must finite and infinite always be disparate? Can snow and ice be from water made separate? Could he be subject to error whose name dispels error's night, who is ever the same? The Lord of day, Rama, all bliss, knowledge, truth, illusions, night never can touch him forsooth. The Lord divine he, very light, in his presence, no dawn understanding need have, 'tis his essence. All self-conceit, ignorance, learning, joy, grief, mark beings whose life here is bounded and brief. The world knows that Rama is Brahma, sublime, all bliss, all pervading beyond thought and time. The Spirit Supreme, fount of light of all beings, created the Lord, now revealed. The joy of Raghu's line, my Lord, thus Shiva, in reverent faith, Rama hailed. His own follies hid from one darkened and dull. In God he sees error, the ignorant fool, like simple folks who, when clouds cover the sun, say darkness and night come, the sun's set and gone. Like children who cover their eyes with their fingers, with whom the illusion of two moons then lingers. No more than by smoke and dust heaven is affected. In sense is sensual illusion in Rama detected. Like all souls and God's senses too, and their objects are all in their measure intelligent subjects. 'Tis Rama eternal who everything lightens. 'Tis he who, as ruler, fair Avad now brightens. Whatever is lightened, its light gets from him, source of truth, as all that's elusive and dim. By his truth, elusive material perception appears to be true. Thus it leads to deception. As water's mirage in the sun's rays appears, and as silver appears in a shell, although it is false, yet as long as it lasts, nothing can the illusion dispel. Though full of illusion and suffering perforce, the whole world rests back upon God as its source. As when a man dreams, someone cuts off his head, and suffers till sleeping and dreaming have fled. My Uma, the one by whose grace error flies, is Rama of Raghu's line, kindly and wise. His end and beginning none ever could know. His praise as they find him, the scriptures all show. He hears without ears, without feet too he moves, without hands he his power in deeds varied he proves. no mouth, yet in all flavors pleasure he takes. Without tongue or voice, eloquently he speaks. He sees without eyes, without body he touches, without any nose, every scent too he catches. His deeds and his ways none can fitly describe. To him as is due, none can glory ascribe. He whom all the scriptures and sages proclaim, and saints contemplate without ceasing. This Lord is now Koshala's king, son of Dasarath, the faithful from all ill releasing. The one by the virtue of whose name the soul that dies in Benares forever is whole, is Rama, the Lord of all lifeless and living, my Lord, every heart's inmost secrets perceiving. He whose name the most helpless sinner employs, and evils in former births gathered destroys. The one by whose memory all souls can forever the sea of life cross as cows o'er shallow river. He, Uma, is Rama, the spirit supreme. To charge him with error was folly extreme. The heart that should once entertain such a doubt would all fruit of knowledge and temperance wipe out. At Shiva's enlightening words, all her questions were gone, with all vain arguments and suggestions. Her love and her faith in Lord Rama grew stronger. Impossible things troubled Uma no longer. Puni puni Prabhupada Kamala Gahi Jori Pankaru Pani Boli Girija Bachana Bar Manuhu Prema Rasasani. Again and again at her Lord's lotus feet she bowed and with lotus hands clasped, and heart full of love she began to express her own thoughts and show his she grasped. Illusion is gone like dread feverish heat, dispelled by your voice like cool moon rays and sweet. Your goodness my every doubt has removed, the nature I know of the Rama I've loved. My grief and perplexity now, Lord, have flown. I am wholly at peace. Rama's favor I own. Now count me your humble and most willing slave, although as dull woman I speak and behave. My Lord, if to me you are kindly disposed, pray answer for me the first question I posed. If Rama is Brahma, the spirit immortal, above all, yet found within every heart's portal, why comes he to earth? Why take human form here? My all-gracious Lord, make this mystery clear. Thus Uma, with modesty, spoke sincerely, and showed she the story of Rama, loved dearly. Hiya harashi kamari tava shankara sahaja sujana bahubidi umahi prashansi puni boli kripa nidhana. Then Shankara rejoiced, the destroyer of karma, by nature the generous and good. He praised Uma greatly and showed by his answer he fully her mind understood. I'll leave it there. That's where, if you were doing a 9-day reading, that's where we would have ended on the first day. So, page 160, Sorata 11. Whoever's going to read now. Mark, Dina, you've got it? Yep. I don't know if Guna's there.
Mark, are you going to come?
Yes. Yes, I've got it. Sorry, it takes me a while to press the button. No. Okay. So, okay.
Make sure, Mark, that the book doesn't cover your face.
Okay.
Yeah, so you have to raise the phone, because your phone, the book's so high up, you have to have the phone
All right,
a bit higher.
How's that?
Yeah.
Okay.
If you keep it like that, keep it like that. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, so in my book, it's Chaupai 120. And this is, yes, Sri Ramacharit Manas. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Illusion has gone like dread feverish heat, dispelled by your voice like cool moon rays and sweet. Your goodness my every doubt has removed, the nature I know of the Rama I've loved. My grief and perplexity now, Lord, have flown. I'm wholly at peace, Rama's favor I own. Now count me your humble and most willing slave, although as dull woman I speak and behave. My Lord, if to me you are kindly disposed, pray answer for me the first question I posed. If Rama is Brahman, the spirit immortal, above all yet found within every heart's portal, why comes he to earth? Why take human form here? My all-glorious Lord, make this mystery clear. Thus Uma with modesty spoke and sincerely, and showed she the story of Rama loved dearly. Then Shankar rejoiced, the destroyer of Kama, by nature the generous and good. He praised Uma greatly and showed her by his answer he fully her mind understood. Give heed, he said, while I recount the lake of Lord Rama's deeds, pure blessed story. This is the authentic account Bushundi the crow gave Garur, king of vultures. Their courteous, clear conversation I'll give you in full. Tell it just as it happened. I'll tell the divine incarnation and doings of Rama, all faultless and noble. Unbounded his name and his praises, his history and forms infinite and unnumbered. The things my mind sees and appraises, I tell you now, Uma, with reverence, listen. No first mountain made that the ways of the Lord are wondrous and varied, as scriptures record. Why God becomes incarnate, though this 'tis a fact, can never be told in words full and exact. I know well that Rama is far beyond reach of argument, intellect, knowledge, and speech. And yet, as I'm able, I give you my thought, as sages and saints and the scriptures have sought. My beautiful one, I'll explain as I can why he, the supreme, takes the form of a man. Whenever religion and goodness are waning, when devilish, proud, evil power is gaining, whenever the earth, Brahmins, cows, and the gods are threatened with wrong and face tyrannous odds, 'tis then he some bodily form must assume, the godly to save and all evil consume. The gods he establishes, demons destroys, and the bridge of the scriptures restores. That's why he takes birth, thus his glory and grace once again over the whole earth he pours. The saints his praise singing o'erpass all life's fears, in grace for their sakes he man's life and lot shares. The causes of Rama's birth, many and various, are wondrous in all such occasions precarious. I'll tell you of some births and happenings previous. Give careful attention to tales strange and devious. Lord Vishnu had two servants guarding his quarters, Vijay and Jaya by name, beloved porters. It happened, these brothers, by Brahman's dread curse, were both born as demons. What face could be worse? Hiranya, Kashipu, and Hiranyaksha named, and Indra's pride, lowering, became both world famed. Great conquerors in war with their dread, earth was filled, till Vishnu in form of a wild boar one killed. As lion-like man born the other he slew. The fame of his friend Prahlad has spread too. As demons again they were born and became conquering heroes far famed, feared and glorious. The dread ruthless Ravan and Kumbhakaran, who in war o'er the gods were victorious. Both killed by the hand of the Lord, yet not freed from the curse, for 3 births had to both been decreed. Once more, for the sake of these two, and for love of the faithful, the Lord came to earth from above. His parents, the former Kashyap and Aditi, were Dasharat and Kaushalya of Avad city. In one age in this form the Lord took his birth, and cleansed by his deeds filth from off the whole earth. The gods once again were in dire distress seen. Jalandhar in battle their victor had been. Then Shiva engaged in this warfare terrific, but could not overcome this great demon horrific. The cause was the virtue of Jalandhar's wife, which frustrated Shiva and saved her lord's life. Vishnu, by a trick, made her swerve from her faith. The gods were thus given the victory. But Jalandhar's wife cursed the Lord in her anger when she came to know of his trickery. Lord Vishnu accepted her curse and its power. He's playful in kindness was so in that hour. Jalandhar as Ravan by Rama was slain, and thus in this third birth could freedom obtain. Of one birth this then was the cause and the reason. 'Twas thus Rama took human form at that season. Of each incarnation there's some special fable, which heard from the saints poets tell as they're able. On Vishnu by Narad a curse once was placed. In one age from this incarnation is traced. This last word gave Uma overwhelming surprise, for Vishnu was loved by Saint Narad the wise. She asked, to this curse why was Vishnu submitted? What wrong had he done, gainst whom evil committed? 'Tis strange if strong passion a saint can defeat. Pray tell me, my lord, the whole story repeat. Lord Shiva smiled as he heard Uma's words. The wise are not fools, he replied. But what Rama does, as he plans and at once, comes to pass and must ever abide. Devoutly, while Rama I laud, give ear, Bharadwaja, said Saint Yajnavalkya. I, Tulsi, unyielding to fraud or pride, also worship that same strong deliverer. Among the snow mountains a cave may be found, the Ganga nearby, quiet peace all around. Delighted to see it was Narad the sage, a cell wherein worship he thought to engage. He saw wondrous rocks and streams, forests and glades. His heart with divine love was warmed by these aids. His thoughts set on Vishnu, King Daksha's curse failed. With breath withdrawn, soon thoughtful stillness prevailed. Proud Indra, on seeing his trance, was alarmed. So Kama he called, God with love's arrows armed. To Narad, this god, and his helpers he sent to serve Indra's need. Kama joyfully went. The reason for Indra's concern was the fear that Narad his power and place might acquire. Those greedily sensual and unsatisfied, like crows, are of other people, of all other people, afraid. They're like a base dog on seeing a tiger, runs off with his dry little bone. He fears that the tiger will snatch it away. Such was Indra's, unshamed on his throne. The god and his helpers drew near the saint's cave. By magic illusion of springtime he gave. In all sorts of trees many-hued flowers bloomed. The birds sang their spring songs and busy bees hummed. Around blew delightful, refreshing, cool breezes, a weapon of love by which passion increases, while Ramba and other sweet heavenly nymphs played, and all artful wiles of young passion displayed. They sang in new measures and sweet tones well blended. In intricate dances, hands weaving they wended. The god of love watched as his helpers disported, and gladly to all his devices resorted. The saint was unmoved, despite all this dissembling. Then Kama, for fear of himself, began trembling. There's none can come near or can do the least harm to one who is guarded by Vishnu's strong arm. In trembling and fear, Kama owned with his helpers their efforts, defeat, and futility. He ran to the saint, there he fell at his feet, and asked pardon in deepest humility. No anger could Narad against anyone hold. He answered in love, and thus Kama consoled. The god of love humbly at Narad's command retired from the scene of defeat with his band. Before Indra's court, he the story related, how Narad's fine virtue had love's wiles defeated. They all wondered greatly, the saint they applauded, and worshipping Vishnu, his greatness they lauded. To Shiva came Narad himself in proud fashion, and big with conceit at his conquest of passion. He told how defeat came to Kama's endeavour. The god gave him counsel as loving as ever. O saintly one, never on any pretence to Lord Vishnu tell as to me these events. Though time may seem ripe, and though seemingly bidden, pray keep this forever a secret and hidden. The saint was not pleased with Lord Shiva's advice. He turned way, utterly heedless. Now see what transpired, Bharadwaja, to tell you. God's will prevails, always is needless. What Lord Rama wills and decrees must prevail. Him none can frustrate, he who tries it must fail. On Narad, Lord Shiva's words made no impression. He went straight to Brahma's court, such his obsession, that while there some days stayed this saint among saints, his pride and conceit grew beyond all restraints. One day he sang songs as he played his sweet lute. To Lord Vishnu's name he gave reverent salute. Thus singing he came to the milky sea's shore, where dwells the Lord Vishnu, whom scriptures adore. The Lord was delighted and rose up to greet him, himself at his side, then did lovingly seat him. The Lord of all creatures said, showing a smile, this kindness comes after a very long while. The saint then, unmindful of Lord Shiva's warning, told Kama's whole story, restraint proudly scorning. So strong is his power beyond all conception, that none can resist the Lord Rama's deception. Lord Vishnu then answered the saint in sweet tones, but with countenance solemn and serious. Your memory all passion and pride will destroy, were his words, with their meaning mysterious. The saint was overcome by, I think I just jumped ahead there. Blind passion that soul fascinates and thus harms, that wisdom's restraint lacking yields to its charms. No trouble could passion to one like you cause, so temperate and steadfast in chastity's laws. But arrogant still was the saint in replying, that lot falls to him, Lord, on your grace relying. The gracious one saw through the saint's soul and wondered. A huge tree of pride has sprung up there, he pondered. At once I must act, it must soon be uprooted. I'm pledged to the good of my servants devoted, for the sake of his good, and to play my own game, some plan I'll devise, and the saint thus reclaim. Then Narad, more obstinate still and proud-hearted, bowed low at the feet of the god and departed. Lord Vishnu his powers of illusion revived. See now what marvellous thing he contrived. Right on the saint's road there appeared a dream city. It spread over a full 100 leagues. 'Twas greater and finer than Vishnu's abode, and was built by his magic intrigues. With such handsome women and men the place teemed, that Kama and Rati embodied they seemed. King Silnidhi reigned there, unnumbered his foes. He owned countless elephants, chariots, and horses. Let me read that again. King Silnidhi reigned there, unnumbered his forces. He owned countless elephants, chariots, and horses. In him centered virtue, fame, beauty, and power, the rival of hundreds of Indras, his dower. One daughter he had, Vishwa Mohini her name. Her beauty would put even Lakshmi to shame. By Lord Vishnu's magic, the main was so exquisite. None to describe her charms had the skill requisite. Unnumbered princes and kings there had thronged. To wed the princess by her own choice they longed. As part of this game, Vishnu brought Narad there. The saint asked the folks what was happening and where. He went to the palace when told and directed. The king gave him welcome as one he respected. The princess was called. The king showed her to Narad and asked him to carefully study the maiden and frankly to point out the virtues and faults of her soul, mind, and body. The saint was overcome by her beauty amazing. His vows he ignored. Long he sat at her gazing. Himself he forgot, watched her like one possessed, with pleasure so great it could not be expressed. A bride she for one who's immortal divine, whose glories unconquered over battlefields shine. One whom all creation obediently serves, such Silnidi's daughter as a husband deserves. The marks of her future in mind the saint fixed, to talk with the king of her making pretext. He said that the maid would be happy and fortunate, then left with his mind much disturbed and importunate. I must think out and devise such a plan, said he, that she'll marry me, no other man. No time for this prayer, self-denial and rigour. To make her mine, give me, O God, light and vigour. I need at this time gallant air, handsome features, fine presence, and sweet, pleasing voice. That once she has seen me, the maid may be won, and may give me the garland of choice. From Vishnu I'd ask handsome looks and becoming, but much time must lose in my going and coming. Yet where can I turn just now, brother, oh brother? He is my one helper, I know of no other. At once he expressed his wish, earnestly praying. In answer, Vishnu appeared, still his game playing. The saint's eyes were lightened by sight of this vision. He joyfully thought, for my need, here's provision. His story he told with plea urgent and needy. My gracious Lord, grant help availing and speedy. Divine charm and grace give me, like to your own. There's no way to win her, but by this alone. Your servant am I, Lord, my welfare secure, by means that will bring success swiftly and sure. On seeing to what his delusion had led, the gracious Lord inwardly smiled as he said, Hear me, saintly Narad, your welfare I seek. Your good I desire, nothing else. Be sure this one thing, and this only I'll do, and that words of mine never prove false. A sick man may ask for what harms, and may want it, but no true physician will heed him and grant it. And likewise, O saint, for your good I've prepared. With these words, the Lord once again disappeared. The saint was so mad in his folly delusive, he failed to perceive Vishnu's meaning elusive. At once to the well-filled arena he goes, the place where the princess, her husband, will choose. There, line upon line, sat the kings with their banners, in gorgeous array, and each his retainers. The saint took his place, thinking thus in his glee, my beauty is such that she'll choose none but me. But Vishnu in kindness, with no thought invidious, had made him unspeakably ugly and hideous. The people knew Narad and deference paid him, but knew naught of all things that had waylaid him. 2 servants of Shiva were there at the time, who knew what had just then transpired. Great jokers were they. Here and there in the gathering, they wandered as Brahmins attired. In that very group, just where Narad was seated, in thoughts of his handsomeness, proud and conceited, close by him those servants of Shiva likewise took their seats, all unknown in their Brahmin disguise. Just where he could hear them, they started their mocking. From Vishnu fine looks he's received, they said, joking. As soon as she sees him, he'll charm the princess. She will choose him, believing him Vishnu no less. They quietly laughed at the saint who, a puppet, bewitched, lay in other hands. No one could stop it. Bewildered, he understood none of their chaffing, although he could hear all their chattering and laughing. No other sensed anything secret or strange, except the princess, she aware of the change, turned from his revolting ape face in disgust, as hopefully Narad himself forward thrust. The maid like a swan walked around the arena, her lovely companions about her, the garland of choice in her lotus-like hands she held as she looked on each suitor. But where Narad sat, and where swelling pride beckoned, she turned not her gaze, no, not even for a second. She fussed and she twisted and changed his position. Sorry, he fussed and he twisted and changed his position. His tormentors laughed and they saw his condition. As one of the kings, Vishnu sat in the crowd, with joy on the maid on him the garland bestowed. To Lakshmi's abode as his bride the Lord brought her. Despondent the kings went away who had sought her. The saint sat in hopelessness, maddened and tossed, like one who a priceless rich jewel has lost. The servants of Shiva said laughingly, "Go you, friend Narad, and see what a mirror will show you." Then having said that much, they ran off in terror. The saint took a look in the lake as a mirror. The sight that he saw there enraged and demented him. Bitterly cursed he the two who tormented him. Both of you go, become demons of darkness. You've played the foul hypocrite hooligan. This be the fruit of your mocking, nor dare you to make of a saint such a fool again. He saw once again the water his face, restored as before, but that brought him no peace. His mind hot with rage and lips quivering constantly. Straight to meet Vishnu away he went instantly. Thought he, I'll curse him or kill myself off. Because of him, at me the whole world will scoff. Just then, o'er demons victorious Vishnu, with Lakshmi and that fair princess came in view. He said in loving voice, quiet and mild, "Where go you, my friend, so distracted and wild?" At these words, the rage of the saint was inflamed. He lost all discretion. As Vishnu he blamed. To frustrate another success is your policy. Well, the world knows of your falsehood and jealousy. Shiva you maddened by churning the ocean, sent gods to make him drink the poisonous potion. Giving poison to Shiva, to demons to drink. You took Lakshmi and the bright gem of gems. You've always been treacherous, wayward, and selfish in all of your doings and aims. Always self-willed, under no one's authority, done as you like in your superiority, evil exalting, good crushing and scorning, nothing you know of rejoicing or mourning. Others you're always enticing and tempting, yourself from all worry and trouble exempting. No good deeds or evil ever seemed to concern you, and no one could ever restrain you or turn you. You now must abide in the structure you've built. The fruits you'll receive are of your own deeds and guilt. This then is the fate by my curse you've secured. Be born in the form by which I was allured. You made me look monkey-like for your own ends. So monkeys shall be your own helpers and friends. And as you have wronged me and blasted my life, you shall be grief-struck by the loss of your wife. The Lord bowed his head to the curse of the saint, that the prayers of the gods might be answered. And then in his kindness the power he withdrew of the plan of illusion he'd sponsored. When every delusion and dream was dispelled, nor Lakshmi nor princess again were beheld, at Vishnu's feet Narad fell, all a tremble, his feet who gives heed to the prayers of the humble. Good Lord, may my curse be averted, he pled. Your wish is my will, the all-gracious one said. My lord, replied Narad, harsh words I have spoken. Pray, how may my sins, guilt, and power be broken? 100 times say Shiva's name and believe, said Vishnu, your soul 'twill that moment relieve. None dearer than Shiva could be to me ever. To this faith hold fast, let it go from you never. The one on whom Shiva no grace will bestow can never find love for me, none ever show. Delusion has left you, my words weigh and ponder. Let this faith stay with you wherever you wander. The Lord thus instructed and reassured Narad, and then himself faded from sight, while Narad, extolling the Lord Rama's fame, sought the heavenly realm of true light. Anyone like to take the next.
That was beautiful. So beautiful. So good. Well, come on. Who's the next person? Roll up. Roll up.
Should be Dina if he's there. Yeah, there he is.
There he is.
Yeah, you have to clue me in.
You just went on mute.
Page 181. Chow Pai.
Mark, where am I?
Page 181. Yes.
Somebody like to help me.
Yes. Can you not hear me, Dina?
I'm lost. I don't know where I am.
Dina.
Can somebody hear me?
Can you not hear me?
Yes, we can hear you,
Oh,
Dina.
I'm on here. Oh, God, sorry, my speaker.
Right, Dina, you're on page 181.
Sorry, my speaker on. Sorry,
can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Yeah.
Okay, 181, page 181. It'd be Chow Pai 139.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. Hare Krishna.
Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Those servants of Shiva fell in with the saint, as he, free from pride, on his way joyful went. They trembled in fear as they nearer approached. Then, low at his feet, their petition they broached. Shiva's servants we are, Brahmanas, but by pretense, the fruits we receive of our foolish offense. Be gracious, O saint, from your curse let us hide. Then Narad, kindly and gracious, replied. You both must be demons of night, but be glorious, famed for your prowess, o'er many victorious. Then, when you've conquered the world for its sake, Lord Vishnu again human body will take. In battle you'll die at his hand on the earth, and freedom forever you'll win from all birth. They left him in reverence for such saintly strength. Both became demons of darkness at length. Lord Vishnu, for this reason, took human form. In one age, and thus those days brightened, to gods and saints he brought joyous relief, and the world's heavy burden he lightened. Many the births thus of Vishnu's beneficence, all marked by beauty and blessed munificence. Time after time is he thus manifested. By virtue and grace is his goodness attested. His story is given in every age, in choice strains and measures by saint and by sage. We thus have these varied and wonderful histories, which wise men hear gladly, untroubled by mysteries. Eternal is Vishnu, eternal is his story. All scriptures and saints tell of his marvelous glory. So wondrous are Ram's ways known to the sages. All could not be told in a myriad of ages. The tale of his elusive power I've declared, to show how the wisest and best are ensnared. His sportive but those who pray humbly he blesses. He is near to his servants and heals their distresses. No god, man or saint, but must feel at times all the power of the false and elusive. Then praise him, Lord of the unreal. The thought of his ways in your heart ever cherish. Now, maid of the mountains, without any pause, a wondrous new story I'll tell of the cause. Why Brahma, unborn, the unrivaled controller of all infinite, became Koshala's ruler. The Lord, who was wandering the forest for years with his brother, both dressed as devoted fakirs, whose beauty and worth, by which many are gladdened, so stirred you that in satis form you were maddened. the thought of which causes you still loss of ease. He whose gracious ways heal illusion's disease. That Lord's sportive deeds in his life incarnate. As far as I know them, I fully relate. These words of Lord Shiva in kindliest voice made modest, affectionate Uma rejoice. The god then continued his theme to make plain, while Vishnu assumed incarnation again. And now Bharadwaj and Saint Jagna Valkya give heed while I tell, as he told it. The story of Ram that cleanses sins and stains and gives bliss as men hear and unfold it. Manu, heaven-born, and Shatarupa, first woman. His wife were the parents of all that is human. The scriptures record to this day their rare beauty, devoted to God, to each other, and duty. King Uttanapada they had as their son, whose firstborn was Dhruva, devout, faithful one. At last, as his youngest, was Priyabrat born, whose name and whose fame ancient scriptures adorn. Manu had a daughter, Devahuti by name, who wife of the saintly Kardama became. To her, the Supreme One, the Lord in his grace, gave a son kindly, Kapila, gem of our race. Who gave us the great Sankhya system and teaching, whose grasp of all foundation of truth is far-reaching. With kingdom and family thus many days, God's will followed Manu in all of his ways. He could not attain the condition of total detachment while living at home. In old age, he said in contrition, life's gone, true devotion I have not attained. His son he made king, brought his reign to conclusion. Then he and his wife went to live in seclusion. They thought of Naimisha, far-famed pilgrimage center, so pure that it gives bliss to all those who enter. Their sages and saints live in brotherly union. The king went there gladly to share this communion. As he and his wife took their pilgrim way steadily, wisdom and faith seemed to show themselves bodily. Reaching the pure river, Gomati's banks, they bathed in its waters and gave grateful thanks. To greet them came wise men and good from all quarters, who knew them as truth's loyal, kingly supporters. To all of the sacred and beautiful places, the saintly ones took them with courtesies and graces. In hermit's garb clad, bodies steadily wasting, they live joys of scripture and fellowship tasting. In thoughtful devotion, they constantly uttered the holiest 12-lettered charm, their minds wholly set on the Lord's lotus feet, with a love that was earnest and warm. On Brahma, truth, knowledge and bliss meditating. They passed their days, naught but leaves, roots and fruits eating. For God's sake, they then sought to live more austerely, ate no food at all, but on water lived merely. But one thing they asked for, but one thing they wanted. May God's wondrous vision to our sight be granted. The one without passions, parts, end or beginning, whom true seekers think upon, life's true goal winning. By scripture unknown, not thus declared, the one with whom naught can be matched or compared, from whom Shiva, Brahma, and Vishnu have sprung, as parts of his essence, whose praises are sung. So great, yet to come to his servants he deigns. In play becomes man, shares their joys and their pains. If what scriptures tell us is really the truth, fulfilled will our longing and prayer be forsooth. In this way, for 6,000 years upon nothing, but water lived this saintly pair, and yet, more austere, 7,000 years longer, they lived upon nothing but air. Then, even this means of support they forewent, standing on one foot, 10,000 years spent. The three gods looked on at this stern, endless striving. To Manu they often came, always contriving. To win him away, ask your boon, they insisted. But firm in his purpose, their wiles he resisted. Their bodies were now simply bare skin and bone, but nothing of pain did their minds feel or own. The all-knowing Lord knew his servants right loyal, here living as hermits of birth and house royal. His ask what you will made the heavens resound, in voice that was kind, nectar sweet and profound. The voice that awakens the dead from sleep straightway reached home to their heart as it entered ear gateway. Their bodies at once became youthful and vigorous, as though they had just left their home for life rigorous. On hearing these words in that life-giving voice, their bodies were thrilled with their love. His love overflowing, King Manu with reverence replied to the Great One above. O Lord, at whose feet the three gods humbly kneel, who, like the divine tree and cow, holdest our wheel, soon found by thy servants to all good gifts giving, and suppliant aid, Lord of lifeless and living. If truly thou lovest us, friend of the friendless, in grace this boon grant us, bestowing joy endless. So joy is endless. That form which in Shiva's mind dwells, we are told, that form which true saints ever strive to behold, the form in Bushundi's mind, swan in a lake, finite, infinite, which their theme scriptures make. O Lord, with this form do thou gladden our eyes. Kind Saviour of suppliants, bid light to arise. These words of the saintly pair, full of affection and meekness, delighted the Lord of perfection. He, dwelling in all, friend of all, well of kindness, revealed himself to them, dispelling all blindness. As blue as the lotus, as blue as the sapphire, dark blue as rain clouds in a storm, to shame would a million love gods be put by his glorious form. Like autumn moon perfect in beauty his face, cheeks, chin and neck dimpled and shell-like in grace, red lips, shapely teeth and nose, o'er all a smile, whose light would shame moonbeams and shines all the while. His eyes, like young lotus buds, bright with a glance, whose beauty must all those who see it entrance. His brows would the bow of the love god outshine, above on his forehead a fair sacred sign. Fish-like gems in his ears, on his head golden crown, like swarming bees curls from his head hanging down. A costly gem rests on his chest and his neck, fair garlands of flowers and jewels bedeck, On lion-like shoulders a sacred thread hung, and arms like an elephant's trunk, round and strong. And on them bright armlets and bracelets enclasped, arrows bound at his waist, and his bow firmly grasped. His bright yellow clothing would dim lightning's flash. On his belly 3 lines are displayed. The beauty and grace of his navel would put Jumna's eddies and waves in the shade. His fair feet outrival the lotus in charm, around which saintly souls like bees overflow swarm. And there on his left, in her glory, Coeval, the world mother, beauty's crown, power primeval, the one from whose essence unnumbered there spring, Lakshmis, Umas, Brahmanis, whose beauty we sing. The beautiful Sita at Rama's left hand, the play of whose eyebrows to the world gives command. The king and his wife at this vision amazing of Vishnu as Ram stood transfixed and gazing. They reverently watched the divine apparition. Their eyes never would have enough of this vision. Transported with joy, unself-conscious and calmed, they fell at his feet, by his love overwhelmed. With hand on each head, as they knelt to adore him, the gracious Lord bade them to rise up before him. Now ask what you will. Tell your greatest desire, said the kindly, compassionate Lord. The greatest boon ask that your heart can conceive. Of my favor be ever assured. Much cheered by these words were the reverent pair. And clasping his hands, the king offered his prayer. My lord, since your lotus-like feet we have seen, fulfilled are the prayers of myself and my queen. One hope yet I have, that I cannot discard, yet scarcely can tell. 'Tis so easy, so hard. 'Tis easy, my gracious lord, for you to give it, but hard 'tis for the unworthy, me, to receive it. I'm like a poor man, who cannot tell his wishes, though finding his way to the heavenly tree's riches. He knows not its power, nor believes what it offers. Like him, from the hindrance of doubt, my mind suffers. But every heart and its secrets you know. O Lord, this my longing, I pray you bestow. Quit doubting, the Lord said, and ask what you will. There's no wish, O king, that I cannot fulfill. The king replied, Chief of all generous ones, thou, I tell my wish truly as bidden. A son like to thee is the boon that I crave. From thee, my good Lord, naught is hidden. Observing their love, their words hearing so precious, so shall it be done, said the Lord of all propitious. None else is my equal in virtue and worth. Hence, born as your son, I'll again come to earth. Then, seeing Shatarupa, hands clasped, meek and quiet, he said, Name your wish, lady, faith can supply it. The boon that the king wisely asked, she replied, and you, Lord, have granted, has me satisfied. I know it is foolish and highly presumptive, although you approve in your kindness redemptive. O Spirit Supreme, knowing all things, the source of all gods and the Lord of the whole universe, the thoughts of such greatness make faith hesitant, but 'tis done when you speak, your near fail, nor recant. The one who loves you and is loyal in faith finds heavenly bliss, a hope beyond death. Uh-huh. Would anybody else like to?
That was lovely. Beautiful. Got so much love, man. It's all about love.
I tried to do my best.
No, it's good, but as well, I mean, that scene was. It's just like, you know, it's just like Krishna. I love that,
It's
and
a
I
beautiful
won't comment,
scene,
and we
isn't
can comment it afterwards. But
it?
yeah. So
Yeah,
who's
yeah.
next? Guna, Madan back again?
Well, I don't know if Guna's there or not.
Guna's not there now.
Okay, well then you go back then, Madan.
Oh,
You carry
Madhav
on.
is there.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, but I think she was busy.
yeah. Yeah. You read,
So
Madan. You go back.
I'll read it.
Guna's not here right now.
Okay, thanks, madam.
Thanks.
I just had a quick question, Madan. So when Dina was reading and describing all the qualities of Krishna, his chest and everything, who is that describing that?
Shiva to Parvati, Yajnavalkya to Bharadwaj. It's a narration within the narration. It's Rama he sees.
Ah.
Yeah. And there's that verse that Neela Saroruhu Neela Mani Neela Nira Dashyam Raja Hitanusobha Nidaki Koti Koti Satakama. That verse that Dina read. Blue as the lotus, as blue as the sapphire, dark blue as rain clouds in a storm. To shame would a million love gods be put by his glorious form. You were so lucky to get that bit, Dina.
It was beautiful.
I knew it was Ram because they didn't mention the flute, but there's some similar traits, isn't there? Like the curly hair, like bees, wearing his lightning dhoti.
Yes.
Yeah.
But also,
why wouldn't it be?
That's the evidence that for you that the body of Rama is of blue. Yes, he's not green after all.
Well, that's right.
Anyway, according to Tulsidas, maybe the Bengalis, they say him green, and then in the out. Anyway, Haribol, Jai Shri Ram.
Okay, so now we're on Chopai 151. So Satarupa, Manu's wife, has been praying to him. Thus pled the queen in her love and sweet modesty. Vishnu replied, ever kindly in majesty. That is, Suni mridu gura bhakti juta rachana, kripa sindhu boli mridu bachana. Know without doubt that whatever may be the desire of your heart, it is granted by me. Your wisdom, unworldly and keen, by my favor shall never pass from you, but be yours forever. Then Manu again to the Lord humbly bent and said, I have one more desire to present, devoted to you, though, my son, I'd remain your servant. Let folks call me fool, 'tis in vain. On you hangs my life, without you no renewal, like fish without water, or snake without jewel. Thus making request, the Lord's feet he held fast. The gracious one said, it shall be so at last. But now, the command that I give you, obey. Go straight to Lord Indra's abode and there stay. For some time let that be your home. In freedom and happiness live there together. You then Awad's king shall become, and I will be born as your son, as I said. I'll take thus a human form of my own will, and there in your home I myself will reveal. Embodied I'll be, and with all of my parts, for the good of the faithful, those ways and those arts I'll follow, the story of which, heard with reverence, destroys pride and passion, to all brings deliverance. Embodied shall be, too, my power fundamental, the elusive mother of worlds elemental. Your own earnest longings shall thus be fulfilled. 'Tis true, every word true, for thus I have willed. Repeating these words, all their doubting he banished, and then once again from their vision he vanished. The saintly pair lived in that place some years longer, their love for the Lord growing constantly stronger. In due time, they quietly passed through death's portals and reached Amaravati, home of immortals. This then, Bharadwaja, said Saint Yajnavalkya, is one of the pure stories told by Shiva to Uma, another cause here now for Rama's birth in days of old. As Shiva told Uma a third sacred story, I'll tell you 'tis one well known, holy and hoary, Kekaya's country throughout the world known, where King Satyaketu was set on the throne, supporter of goodliness, storehouse of wisdom, of power and glory and virtuous custom. 2 sons had the monarch, both staunch and courageous, with virtue endowed and of valor prodigious. The elder, Pratapabhanu, was well fitted the throne to inherit when to him committed. In Ari and Ari Mardan was the name of the younger. In battle than he, none more stalwart, none stronger. Sincere was the brotherly love of each brother, devoted with naught of pretense to each other. In old age, the king left the throne to his heir and went to the woods to find God and peace there. Throughout the whole kingdom, the word was dispatched when Pratapa Bhanu took the helm. The king knows the scriptures, will rule as they guide, that no evil may enter his realm. The good Dharmaruchi, the king's chief adviser, was gifted and kindly. No god could be wiser. With such a wise counselor, kinsman so valiant, himself on the field as his name, sun-like brilliant, with hosts of all kinds set in glorious array, and countless great warriors keen for the fray. The king was inspired as he watched in review the omens proved kindly and loud trumpets blew. A host he prepared, then with banners unfurled, on a well-chosen day went to conquer the world. In place after place fiercest warfare was waged. All foes he defeated wherever engaged. By force of his armies he conquered all lands, and left when they paid him his tribute demands. In this way, throughout the whole world in those times, sole ruler was he of all lands and climes. The world having won by the might of his arm, to his city he came with his treasure. Thenceforth he devoted his time to religion, to wealth, love, and many a pleasure. Arata karama kama di, dharma artha kama. Bhupa pratapa bhanu balapai, kama dhenu bhe, bhumi suhai, saba dukkha Bharadita Praja Sukhari Dharamashila Sundara Naranari. Such influence had he o'er all while he reigned, that everywhere wealth and success were maintained. His subjects, devoted to God and their duty, were happy, carefree, one in virtue and beauty. The counselor, true to his God and to royalty, led all the people in honor and loyalty. Courteous duties the king too observed. Preceptors, gods, saints, elders, Brahmins he served. The scriptural precepts for rulers he followed, well knowing 'tis well with all when these are hallowed. He daily gave generous gifts from his coffers and listened devoutly to truth's scripture offers. He opened up wells, bathing places and tanks, fine orchards, groves, gardens, and flowery banks. In pilgrimage spots, he made shrines and abodes for pilgrims and saints, priestly Brahmins and gods. As scripture ordains all the great sacrifices of every form and variety, not once but 1,000 times 1,000 he offered with earnest devotion and piety. In all this, no selfish advantage he sought, but always discerning and lofty in thought. In will, word, and deed, one his aim and his motive, to honor the Lord by acts reverent and votive. His band the king one day prepared for the chase, and mounting his horse towards the woods set his pace. They ranged the thick jungle of Vindhyachal hills, where many a deer they chased, many their kills. The king, as he roamed, saw a boar so ferocious, like moon-grasping Rahu, the demon malicious. It seemed the red orb was too much for his jaws, but he could not disgorge it. His rage made him pause. His tusks and his teeth were terrific. His hulk of a body and limbs were gigantic in bulk. At sound of the horse coming toward him, he growled, pricked his ears in surprise. Here and there his eyes rolled. The horse in its fright backward sprang as it saw the dark, monstrous, mountainous boar. It would not go forward until the king sternly applied both his whip and his spur. The boar, at the sight of the horse and its master, was off like the wind, running faster and faster. The king fixed an arrow at once to his bow. The wary boar watched as he ran, keeping low. The hunter shot many a well-aimed shaft. The boar escaped all by his cunning and craft. Thus off ran the quarry, now hidden, now sighted. The king followed always, to anger incited. Led on by the boar in this wild forest venture, the king reached a dense place his horse could not enter. Although quite alone, weary, hungry for food, the king would not leave the chase. Still he pursued, beset by a hunter so daring and brave. The boar sought and hid in a deep mountain cave. The king now regretted his useless pursuit and found himself lost in the forest to boot. Distressed by fatigue, faint from hunger and thirst, and by thoughts of his failure tormented, the king with his horse sought a pond or a river, and finding none, wandered demented. While wandering the wood, he a hermitage spies, where lives as a hermit a king in disguise, whose kingdom by Pratapa Bhanu was taken. The king then had fled and his armies forsaken. He saw that his enemy's star was ascendant, his own in decline, himself doomed a dependent. He would not return to his home mortified, nor meet with Pratapa Bhanu in his pride, with rage in his heart, though a king, like a beggar. A hermit he lived, body bare and food meager. When Pratapa Bhanu came near and surprised him, the hermit at once as his foe recognized him. But Pratapa Bhanu, in direst distress and ignorance, thought him a saint by his dress. He got off his horse and gave reverent salute. The hermit withheld his name, keenly astute. The hermit king, seeing the hunter was fainting with thirst, led him to a clear pool. Pratapa Bhanu with his horse drank and bathed in that water refreshingly cool. The hunter, his weariness gone and at rest, to his hut by the hermit was led as his guest. The hermit, as evening came on, made a bed for his guest. But ere sleeping, he quietly said, "Who are you? Why wandering alone with no band? So handsome and young, with your life in your hand. A world-conquering ruler you seem by all signs. My heart, since we met, toward you warmly inclines." The hunter said, "Counselor I, saintly one, of Pratapa Bhanu, lordly king of renown. I lost my way hunting, lost also my quarry, but good fortune brought me here. No more I'm sorry. With one such as you, 'tis not easy to meet. Some blessing awaits me, I know, at your feet." "My son," said the hermit, "you are many a league from your city. Night comes, scarcely gone your fatigue." I just remind everyone, he didn't say who he was. He said he was a counselor of the king, but he is the king. Dark night, a dense wood, and a pathway unseen, though you knew every step and each turning. So make up your mind to stay here for the night and return to your home in the morning. Says Tulsi, "What's fated, one cannot escape, for it comes to one when 'tis its hour. If you do not go to it, it comes to you, and then carries you off in its power." Pratapa Bhanu thus disapproved, and well pleased, he tied up his horse and sat down with mind eased. With reverent gestures he praised his good host, and thought himself lucky to be there, though lost. He said to the hermit in tones unassuming, "As father I thank you, though 'tis presuming. As servant and son see me now before you, here before you, and tell me your name, saintly father. Who are you?" He knew not his host, but was known all the while. He was honest. His host was a man of great guile. The hermit, his foe, warrior born, and by right also king, his own end sought by craft or by might. The thought of his conqueror's ease and success kept his mind hot with hate and in painful duress. The king's simple words made his heart wildly dance with new hope. Then rage checking, he grasped at his chance. His clever plan laying, he answered with cunning in sweet tones that covered his stealth. "My name is Bikari now. I am a beggar with no home or family or wealth." The king replied, "Men of true wisdom and learning, like you, show their worth when all pride and rank's burning. Themselves and their gifts they from others conceal, and though much deprived, know true joy and true weal. For this reason, scriptures and saints all declare that the poor to the Lord are especially dear. A poor homeless beggar like you as a rival to Brahma and Shiva, they fear for survival. Whoever you are, with sincere humble mind, I bring my respect, sir, and pray you be kind. At love shown so simply, the hermit waxed confident, more in himself and occasion so provident. More did he show of his make-believe friendliness, won the king to him by false show of kindliness. Listen, he said, 'tis the truth I am telling. O king, many long years has this been my dwelling. Till now I have met no one, so could remain quite unknown and discovery avoid. The love of the world and its fame is a fire by which discipline's groves are destroyed. Says Tulsi, not wise men, but fools are deceived when a pleasant appearance they follow. The peacocks look fine, and it calls with sweet tones, but a poisonous snake 'twill devour. That's why I live hid, he said, from all care freed. I seek the Lord only, him only I need. The Lord of all things knows, though by none he's informed, what gains one by being to earth's ways conformed. As worthy, high-minded son, love you I must. I know that I have your affection and trust. To keep things from you and to have secrets between us, to me would be sin, wholly shameful and heinous. The faith of the king in the hermit increased as he talked of a life from all longing released. Then seeing the king in his power held fast, the false hypocritical saint said at last, my name is Ektanu, one body, my brother. The king bowed in reverence and said to the other, I, sir, as your servant, more knowledge would glean. You've told me your name. Tell me what it may mean. In the very beginning, the dawn of creation, the hermit said. No, in the very beginning, in the dawn of creation, the hermit said. Then was I born. My name Ektanu, for no other body from then until now I have worn. My son, do not wonder or doubt at my word. To spiritual discipline nothing is hard. By discipline Brahma brings all things to birth. By discipline Vishnu preserves the whole earth. By discipline Shiva all beings destroys. By discipline Sheshnag maintains the world's poise. 'Tis this sustains all things both unseen and visible. This is a power to which naught is impossible. Charmed was the king by the saints, the things thus related. Then olden time legends the hermit narrated, of deeds and their fruits, deeds devout and heroic, of rigors and vows of men learned and stoic, creation, sustaining, destruction, expounding, he told many tales, all in wonder abounding. The king now was caught in blind infatuation and told to the hermit his true name and station, who said, well, I know you, though on some pretext you kept back the truth from me, I am not vexed. It is a commendable policy. A king should not tell his name always, my friend. To say that he should is a fallacy. I love you the more for your wisdom and care. World ruler Pratapa Bhanu is your name. Your father was King Satyaketu of fame. I know all things fully by grace of my master, but do not tell others for fear of disaster. When I saw your honesty, truth, and simplicity, trustfulness, courtesy, love, and sagacity. Straightway affection within me arose. That's why, as you asked, I my story disclose. Now I am pleased and have no hesitation. Ask what you will then, without affectation. These, his host's words, set the king's heart rejoicing. He fell at his feet, thus his humble prayer voicing. Since I, kindly saint, have this vision obtained of you, all that man can desire I have gained. But nevertheless, since your favor I hold, to ask a great boon without fear I make bold. May I die in old age free from bodily pain, and may no one defeat me in war. May I reign without enemies o'er all the earth for 100 ages more. So will it be, said the hermit. I hope, but one hard thing hinders. With it you must cope. The world and the age will acknowledge your power. The Brahmins accepted, to none will they cower. The Brahmin by spiritual rigor is fortified. None could be safe when he's angry or mortified. When you have Brahmin priests under your hand, the great divine triad will heed your command. Gainst Brahmins no violent force will succeed. I swear 'tis the truth, so my son, pay good heed. But never you'll perish, you're safe from the worst, unless by a Brahmin you're hated and cursed. The king was delighted and said in reply, I know now, sir, surely I'll never die. It is by your favor, O kind saintly one, that I for all time my true welfare have won. Amen, may it be so, the false hermit said. Then again, his perversity hiding, till none of our meeting, he said, if they learn of it, 'twill not be by my confiding. Now this is the reason for such strict admonishment. If it is told, it will bring severe punishment. If it should come to a third pair of ears, you will perish and thus meet the worst of your fears. Let's see. Mark.
Yes,
You
yes.
want to
I'm
take
here.
over? Start that
Okay.
one again. 166. I missed
Okay.
it.
Okay. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Now, this is the reason. Sorry, let me readjust that. Now, this is the reason for such strict.
Mark, we can't see your head. Sorry. That's it. Thank you very much, Hariam.
Okay. Now, this is the reason for such strict admonishment. If it is told, it will bring severe punishment. If it should come to a third pair of ears, you will perish and thus meet the worst of your fears. There's nothing, Pratabhabhanu, that can slay you, but curse of a Brahmin and this thing told by you. By no other means can you meet fate adverse, not even by Vishnu's or Shiva's dread curse. The king at his feet said, 'Tis true, sir, no creature is saved from the wrath of a Brahmin and teacher. A teacher from rage of a god can deliver, but none from the rage of a teacher, none ever. If I then your word should ignore or forget, I'll perish, I know, with no grounds for regret. But one thing I fear, sir, to me it is horrible. Fierce is the curse of a Brahmin and terrible. How can I win the goodwill of the Brahmins? And what must I do to this end? This one kindness grant me. I've no one so gracious to look to but you as my friend. Pray hear me, O king, said the hermit. There's many. A doubtful and difficult plan, sure not any. There's one by which soon would the problem be solved, but in it one difficult thing is involved. It rests upon me for success, but alas, the gates of your city I never can pass. In entering no houses or towns I've persisted. To this day I've entered none since I existed. But if I don't go there, you'll come to distress. I'm puzzled and pulled these two ways, I confess. The king replied humbly, "Forgive my presumption, but this scripture teaches a basic assumption. The great one in mercy, the lesser one aids. The tall mountain bears on its crest small grass blades. The bottomless sea bears the foam as it floats. The earth on its bosom bears tiny dust motes. Be merciful to me, my master," he said, as he fell at his feet once again. "In goodness and kindness endure, I implore you, for my sake, this trouble and pain." The hermit said, seeing the king in his toils, and carrying further his treacherous wiles, "The truth is, O king, and let this be well heeded, all things I can do, none is hard that is needed. You're wholly devoted to me, well I know you. I'll do what you ask of me, that much I owe you. Austerity's charms, tricks, and magic will work, and be fruitful if kept wholly secret and dark. My plan, you must serve a meal which I'll prepare, of my name, birth, and dwelling, let none be aware. Then whoever eats of the food you thus serve, your every wish and command will observe. And hereafter whoever eats in the home of that person, to you your power will succumb. Now what you must do I will tell you, and how. For 1 whole year place yourself under a vow. Each day from the Brahmins a fresh 100,000, as guests with their families too. You must call, and then I every day will prepare all their food, and the vow share with you. In this way, O king, with the least little bit of trouble the Brahmins to you will submit. In turn they will serve in their work sacrificial, the gods they'll win to you and make beneficial. And now I will give you a sign to assure you, in this form and guise I will not come before you. Your family priest I'll bring here for a space, by my elusive power to live in this place, by the power I've gained from my long perseverance, I'll make him like me, and I'll take his appearance. As long as I'm with you, I'll make him stay here, and as I in his place will serve you the whole year. But now take your rest, for the night is fast spent. In 3 days we'll meet again, with your consent. This night I will carry you while you are sleeping, back to your home and your people's safekeeping. You'll know it's me when you and your palace, I come there in guise to find you. I'll call you aside and of all that has happened, alone and in secret remind you. The king sought his couch at the hermit's request. The clever rogue sat on, nor took any rest. The king in his weariness slept deep and sound, the other immersed in deep thoughts, so no sleep found. The boar who misled the king had contrived, as dread demon Kalaketu then arrived. An ally and friend of the hermit was he, a tricky deceiver, none falser could be. 10 brothers and 100 sons long ago, he had shameless brutes spreading evil and woe. Pratapabhanu killed them all once in war, when the gods, saints, and priests could endure them no more. The demon, remembering and nursing his hate, consulted the hermit to settle the fate of his enemy and to accomplish his doom. Unknown to the king, 'gan these dangers to loom. A powerful foe one should never despise, although he alone is confronted by the grim head alone of the demon Rahu. Both the sun and the moon still are daunted. The hermit king rose when his ally he sighted, and greeted him gladly, then keenly delighted. He told him of all that had just then transpired. The demon with eager excitement inspired said, "Now you can have on your foe your revenge, if you follow my counsel, on that much will hinge. Go now, take your rest, let your mind be at ease. Without physic providence heals your disease. Without physic, Providence heals your disease. Your foe with his family I'll sweep right away. In 4 days I'll meet you and make no delay. At this cheering promise, the hermit's face brightened. The demon deceiver went off with rage heightened. He carried Pratapabhanu with his horse to his palace asleep and unknowing, of course. The king by his sleeping queen safely he laid, and the horse in a stall in the stables he tied. The family priest of the king he deprived of his senses, and thus non-resistant, he carried him off by his magical power to a cave in the mountains far distant. Himself he assumed the priest's form, and as such, he lay down to rest on his sumptuous couch. The king awoke early, and smitten with wonder, he found himself lying at home and not yonder. He rose, and the power of the hermit admitting, he went away softly, the queen all unwitting. He mounted his horse, and that none might be knowing, he went to the woods, no one seeing his going. He came back at noon, of his safety thus learning, his people every house hailed his returning. He saw, as he thought, his own priest, and astounded, remembered the scheme that the hermit propounded. The false hermit's hold on his mind was so strong that the next 3 days seemed to the king an age long. The fateful appointed time came, and at last the priest to the king recalled all that had passed. The king, recognizing his master, was happy, all caution forgot and enthralled. A full 100,000 true Brahmins as guests with their families he instantly called. The priest then prepared for them all kinds of food, ordained by the scriptures, all tasty and good. By magical power the meal and its spices were such none could tell them, whate'er his devices. He cooked different kinds of meat, then in one dish the rascal mixed pieces of Brahmin priest's flesh. He called all the guests, servants, washed each one's feet, then politely he sat everyone in his seat. The king was beginning to serve, all unfearing, when a heavenly voice cried aloud in their hearing, "O Brahmins, get up and be off to your homes. Eat nothing, who eats here, on him trouble comes. The flesh of a Brahmin before you is placed." Believing the voice, they all rose up in haste. The king stood aghast, by illusion overpowered. Not a word could he say, as fate o'er him lowered. The Brahmins said, cursing the king in their fury, regardless of what might result, "Go you and your family demons become. He's a fool who would Brahmins insult." Kshatri monarch, we're Brahmins and never would hurt you. You called us to ruin our caste and our virtue, but God has protected our honor and faith. Go all you and yours to a fate worse than death. Within the year perish all you and your kind, then water to offer not one you will find. The king at such cursing was smitten with dread, but once more the heavenly voice spoke and said, "In cursing the king you've been unjust and thoughtless. No wrong has he done, and his character's spotless." The voice caused the Brahmins dismay at their blundering. The king hurried off to the cooking place wondering. Then finding no food there and no Brahmin cook, he returned to his guests, grave in mind and in look. He told what had happened, made everything clear, and fell to the ground in his anguish and fear. "Although you are faultless," they said, "yet what's fated can never be, O king, can never, O king, be effaced. The curse of a Brahmin is fearsome. What's written in deeds never can be erased." The Brahmins departed with this their last word. The people got tidings of what had occurred. With minds vexed and bitter, their fate they derided. It started a swan, now a crow is provided. The demon returned, the true priest to his own, and then told the hermit of all he had done. He next sent the news out in every direction. Their armies the kings gathered ready for action. They marched on the kingdom, the city besieged, and day after day fierce warfare was waged. The king and his men bravely fought, but in vain. Pratapabhanu and his brothers were slain. The whole house of Satyaketu was destroyed. A Brahmin's curse can never be made null and void. The conquerors restored and repeopled the town, and returned to their kingdom with victor's renown. Give heed, Bharadwaja and Saint Yajnavalkya, when God and his ways are perverse. The dust is like mountains, a rope is a serpent, one's father a dread deadly curse. Pratapabhanu in due course was reborn, as a demon, his family too in their turn. The great Ravan named, with 10 heads, 20 arms, his prowess roused constantly fears and alarms. As strong Kumbhakarna was born Arimardhan, the younger who shrank from no foeman or burden. The counsellor wise Dharmaruchi became, the demon king Ravan's half-brother of fame. He's known to the world as the learned Vibhishan, whose firm faith in Vishnu reached fruitful completion. All Pratapabhanu's retainers and sons were born as demoniac, devilish ones. They embodied passion and tyrannous vengeance, malicious and cruel, devoid of all conscience. They killed without mercy, excelled in wrongdoing. Thus through the whole world untold trouble was brewing. Dina, would you like to continue? Doha 167.
Dina, are you up for it?
I'm gonna pass on that one.
Okay, okay.
Shall
So
I
do you want to carry on, Mark, or do you
I'll
want
continue, shall I?
Yeah.
Okay. Although they were born in the line of Pulastya, for holiness known and unrivaled, the curse of the Brahmins had brought them to birth, with their forms and their minds all bedevilled. Applying themselves with unspeakable vigour, the three brothers set out on spiritual rigour. Lord Brahma, on seeing their earnest endeavour, said, "Ask what you will, you have well earned my favour." Himself humbly bowed at the feet of the Lord. The 10-headed Ravan this blessing implored: "May no one, my master, be able to slay me, but monkey or man, lo, in your hands I lay me." The Lord Brahma answered, "Your boon is assured. I, Brahma, will grant it, for much you've endured." He next Kumbhakaran, gigantic in size, beheld, and the sight made him stand in surprise. "This one is an ogre," he said, "never sated. If he eats this way, all will be devastated." He sent Saraswati, his mind to ensnare. The giant asked 6 months long sleep then and there. He next sought Vibhishan and told him to ask for his boon. Then Vibhishan replied, "Pray grant that true love for the Lord's pure lotus feet in my heart may forever abide." These boons having granted, Lord Brahma departed, and they to their homes returned, now gladsome hearted. Now Maya the king had a beautiful daughter, the peerless Mandodari, many had sought her. He knew Ravan would rule the demons, so wed her. To him he, the queen of his whole household, made her. Well pleased with his wife, a true gem among others, the weddings he also arranged of his brothers. Far out in the sea is a natural fortress, a huge 3-peaked mountain not easy of access. There demon king Maya a town fortified, of fine stones constructed with gold beautified. 'Twould rival the serpent king's famed Bhogavati, or Indra's great capital, Amaravati. Yes, more charming even than these one might own. Throughout the whole world, its name Lanka is known. Its moat on all sides is the deep mighty sea. By the waters well guarded it lies. the strength of its walls, and the beauty of all its adornments description defies. In every age a great chieftain is sent there, whomever the Lord may ordain, unequalled in prowess and mighty in strength, over the kingdom of demons to reign. A great demon host had once lived in that place, but the gods long ago had extinguished their race. Then Indra an army of yakshas sent there, as guards of the town, with their leader Kuber. When Ravan got news, for he for conquest was eager, so gathered his armies, the fort to beleaguer. The yakshas all fled when they saw him advance, with his great demon warriors trusting no chance. Then ten-headed Ravana the city inspected, relieved that 'twas easier to win than expected. To make it his capital Ravana intended, by nature so charming and so well defended. To each demon subject, to each as he needed, a dwelling he gave, each one's comfort was heeded. At one time Kuber, king of Yakshas, he fought, whose famed flower chariot to Lanka he brought. Again, in sheer playfulness, mountain Kailash he once lifted and moved from its station, as though he were testing his strength as a fighter, which greatly enhanced his elation. His health, wealth, and happiness daily increased. The spread of his wisdom and power never ceased. His family, armies, and conquest over foes grew too, as by every gain greediness grows. There with him was great Kumbhakaran, his brother. As he, strong and stalwart, the world knew no other. He slept 6 long months after taking strong drink. When he wakened, the worlds into terror would sink. Had he eaten a meal every day, I declare, he would soon strip the universe naked and bare. In war so courageous, 'twas thrilling to watch him. In strength and in staunchness, no fighter could match him. Meghnad was another, Ravan's eldest son, who front rank among the world heroes had won. In battle no other this soldier surpassed. The city of Indra he boldly harassed. With him were firm Akampan and ugly Kumuk. Dhumraketu like meteors hurled. Kulesharad, huge tooth, Atikaya the monstrous, alone each would conquer the world. As they willed, they took form, caring nothing for beauty. No thought entertained they of kindness or duty. The 10-headed ruler one day sat amazed. At his innumerable forces he gazed. He saw many sons, grandsons, servants, and friends, a vast demon host he could use for his ends. He gazed at his army, his mind big with vanity, then uttered words of impassioned insanity. Listen, ye demons, whose power I boast. Our enemies now are the gods' heavenly host. They never will dare to confront us in fight, but seeing their foes, they take refuge in flight. I see but one way to overcome that obstruction. I'll show what I plan to achieve, their destruction. Go where Brahmins eat, where oblations they render, or sacrifice make, all such holy rites hinder. When thus they are hungry and weakened at length, all the gods must perforce come and face me. And then I'll destroy them or let them remain in subjection, whichever may please me. He sent for Meghnad, him he sought to arouse, for the venture his anger and strength to infuse. Any gods who are powerful, valiant and staunch, and those who are ready on battle to launch. Go, conquer them all, and then bring them here bound. A challenge the son in his father's words found. The king by such orders his whole army rallied, and forth to the fray with his huge club he sallied. The earth at his tread swung and shook in contortion. His thundering brought the gods' wives to abortion. On hearing that Ravan was come with his braves, and in anger the gods hid in Mount Meru's caves. In every direction the demon king marched, but each place was empty wherever he searched. Again and again did he try to arouse them with lion-like roar and began to abuse them. He ran wildly here and there, mad with war lust, but found ne'er a foeman at whom he could thrust. The sun, moon, and stars, time and death, fire and wind, all beings and powers of every kind, gods, demigods, mendicant saints, common men, he sought out persistently time and again. Wherever in creation were warriors of might, male or female, fierce Ravan was eager to fight. To bring them to battle, them all he pursued, but all yielded to him, without war subdued. The whole universe by his power he conquered. He made every creature his minion, and over all things by his own will and counsel asserted his rule and dominion. Wherever Megnad had been ordered when stirred, was all done at once, done on hearing the word. Hear now what was done by the rest of the band, to whom at the first Ravan gave his command. That horrible demon crew, all evil doers, tormented the gods with their devilish powers. As suited their purpose, their forms they selected, to unjust deception their victims subjected. Whatever could wipe out religion and truth, against all the scriptures, they did without ruth. Wherever a cow or a Brahmin was found, that city or village they burnt to the ground. Nowhere could be found decent folks and well-mannered. No scripture, nor priest, nor preceptor was honoured. No sacrifice, offering, devotion, or praying. No reading or scripture, no hint of obeying. Cruel Ravan was there at the least hint of prayer, temperance, sacrifice, discipline, vigil. He was off like a shot, and he wiped out the lot with his terrible rage and his cudgel. The whole world was cursed with the basest and worst, not a trace or a sound of religion. Scripture renders devout. Ravan turned them all out and threatened them once more with his dudgeon. The tyrannous wrongs were unspeakable, committed by Ravan's vile army of demons. Unlimited, well-nigh unbreakable, the power and curse seems of those who love slaughter. The numbers increased of the thievish and treacherous, covetous gamblers and those who were lecherous. Parents and gods two men openly flouted, and forced saints and scholars to labours unsuited. Said Shiva to Uma, when thus man behaves, he's just like all demons and rascally knaves. With virtue and truth thus defied and forsaken, poor earth agitated and fearful was shaken. The weight of seas, mountains, and streams is a pebble, she said, when compared with the weight of one rebel. Religion, she saw, was perverted and wrested. In terror of Ravan, none ever protested. A cow's form assuming, earth went with much thought to the place of the gods and the saints. Aid there she sought. She wept as she told them the ills she must suffer, but naught could they do for her, aid none could offer. Then gods, nymphs, and saints, with one mind their complaints to the Lord, the Creator, presented. Mother Earth, urgent now, in her form of a cow, also told of the wrongs she resented. Brahma said, I know well all the evils you tell, but in this there's no help I can render. He whose service you own, everlasting his throne, only he is our help and defender. Be patient, O earth, and take courage. With heart and mind set on the Lord's feet, said Brahma. He knows all the things that discourage his people, and in his own time will dispel them. The gods sat in thought, and their needs they discussed. The Lord, where to find him, for find him we must. To paradise we must all go, was one notion. Another, he dwells by the wide milky ocean. The truth is, the Lord to each one is revealed, whose heart with true love and devotion is sealed. Said Shiva, I, Uma, was present and shared the discussion, and to them my mind thus declared. The Lord pervades all things below and above. Omnipresent he's seen and revealed by true love. Pray tell me the country, direction, time, place, where he is not found, where he lives, where he leaves not a trace. Though separate from all, always present he's been. To love, as in wood, fire, by rubbing is seen. By all those who heard them, my words were approved. 'Tis true, said Lord Brahma, himself deeply moved. With gladness of heart, body thrilling and eyes filled with tears, the Lord Brahma creator, hands joined, mind control, sang the praises of Vishnu, the great singing praise of the greater. Hail again, oh, hail again and again, him who blesses all men, Lord of lords, aid of all heavy laden, help of cows and of Brahmins, destroyer of demons, Lord of fair Lakshmi, sea maiden. Earth and heaven he feeds, of his marvelous deeds none can fathom the secret or end. He by nature is kind to the humble in mind, may he aid us who on him depend. Hail, thou deathless one, hail, who in all forms dost dwell, all pervading in all bliss supreme, without limit or bond, unillusioned, Mukund, wholly pure beyond all sense or dream. All the pure saintly host in thy name make their boast, free from error, self-cravings foregoing. They by night and by day sing thy praises and pray. We too hail thee, all good and all knowing. By thee all things had birth, in hell, heaven and earth. None to help thee, none since, none before thee. Pour in worship and piety, Lord, our anxiety, lift from our hearts, we implore thee. Hope and joy of the sages, the fear of all ages, and troubles by thee are dispersed. In thee refuge we find, sought with heart, soul, and mind, though in utterance uncouth and unversed. Though the goddess of knowledge, philosopher's college, the Veda divine and Purana, with naught can compare thee, as one they declare thee, the merciful Lord Bhagavana. Mandara mount in the ocean of this world's commotion, all beauty, all virtue, all blessing. We bow at thy feet, and thy secure entreat in our troubles and fears so distressing. The fears of the gods, Mother Earth, and the saints reached his heart, and a heavenly voice to their love gave assurance in answer, and bade them to lift up their hearts and rejoice. Away with your fears, sages and immortals. Away with your fears, sages, saints, and immortals. For you I will pass once again through birth's portals. With all of my powers, I tell you in honesty, man I'll become in the noble Sun dynasty. Kashyap and Adipti much have endured, and from me the boon that they sought have secured. As Dasharat and Koshalya now they appear, whom Koshala's people as rulers revere. 4 brothers all noble to them shall be born, and the glory of Raghu's line royal adorn. With Lakshmi my energy man's form I'll take, and thus Narad's curse true but harmless will make. I'll conquer earth's troubles, be no longer fearful, ye gods, but take courage in hopes bright and cheerful. As this divine voice reached the ears of the gods, they went their way ready to face any odds. Then Brahma gave earth his last comforting word, which scattered her fears and her courage restored. Before he returned to his realm, Brahma urged that the gods in these great doings share. Go you to earth also as monkeys, he said. Serve our Lord and his cause of love there. The gods every one to his own home returned. Earth too all at rest by the things she had learned. The counsel of Brahma they gladly obeyed, and eager to do it in nothing delayed. On earth, as he said, they assumed monkey form, and with valor began mighty deeds to perform. Their weapons were claws, trees and hills none could rival. They are powerful as they waited Lord Vishnu's arrival. All over the mountains and forests they swarmed. There well-trained and orderly armies they formed. I've told of great people and things they were doing. Now hear that things that elsewhere were meanwhile ensuing. In Avad, King Dasarat of Raghu's line royal ruled well as a student of scripture and loyal, a virtuous king, wise and truly religious, whose love for the bow-bearing lord was prodigious. His queens were Kaushalya and 2 other wives, all loving and loved and obedient, examples of faithfulness, modesty, virtue. With love for the Lord they were radiant. At one time the king was despondent and worried. No son had he through whom his line would be carried. He went and appealed to his priest and preceptor with reverence, though king and though wielding the scepter. He told of his joys, of his hopes and his grief. Vashist gave an answer that brought him relief. Be patient, O king, he said, 4 sons you'll have, well known, who the faithful from trouble will save. The holy saint Shringi was called by the priest, who performed then the sun-bearing sacrifice feast. The saint the oblation devoutly offered. The fire god appeared, and a portion he proffered. The purpose, he said, that Vashist had in mind has succeeded in good time. Its fruits you will find. This portion I therefore to you am committing. Divide it, O king, as to you seems most fitting. The god of fire vanished from sight with these words, and what they must do, having told. The joy and the comfort this gave to King Dasarat was more than his heart could well hold. His queens he called, as he loved one, he loved all. Kaushalya brought both sister queens at his call. He broke in 2 pieces, the portion provided, gave one to Kaushalya, the other divided. Of these to Kaikeyi again he gave one, the other divided again, and this done. These 2 queens assenting by touching one part, he gave both to Sumitra, rejoicing her heart. Each queen ate her portion, and thus became pregnant. Rejoicing and hope in each bosom was regnant. At once when as Rama the Lord was conceived, the whole world new wealth, hope, and comfort received. As one in their palace, the 3 consorts reigned, their radiance, virtue, and beauty maintained. The days and the months for all happily passed. Came the time of the Lord's revelation at last. When the stars, constellations, the time and the season, the day and the hour were auspicious, Lord Rama was born, joy of lifeless and living, to all things supremely propitious. On the 9th day of Chait, month of spring, near full moon, 'neath the clear signs of conquest and love, a rare boon. Not too hot, nor too cold, but a day in fair season. The whole world was calm and at ease for this reason. From heaven refreshing cool breezes were wafted. The gods all rejoiced, saintly minds were uplifted. The woods bloomed with flowers, mountains glistened with gems. The rivers were all filled with life-giving streams. This Lord Brahma judged the right time and occasion. The gods in their chariots set forth in procession. The clear sky was filled with the heavenly arrays, and angel bands sang as they went at heavenly lays. They rained down on earth fragrant bunches of flowers, while sounds of glad music accompanied these showers. Gods, serpents, and saints joyous praise to him rendered, since sincere homage, as he thought fitting, each tendered. They brought him to earth. Then the gods, their prayers offering, returned each again to his place, while he in whom all the earth dwells and finds refuge, in love among men showed his face. The all-loving and kind to a world lost and blind was revealed, and Kaushalya was raptured. His mother with joy saw the form of her boy, which the hearts of the saintly has captured. His glance brightly glowed, body dark as a cloud. In his 4 hands 4 weapons he held. Flowers hung to adorn, as a big-eyed babe born, Rama, glory's one fount she beheld. One may have endless days, but can ne'er sing thy praise to the full, she said, hands humbly clasped, whom the scriptures proclaim, perfect, ever the same, free from passion, by no mind e'er grasped. When the saint and the sage, Lord in every age, as the sea of bliss, goodness, and grace, though thou, heaven's great King, art revealed, joy to bring to my heart, and for love of our race. Sacred books all declare, in thine every hair by illusion all worlds may be found, that thou, Lord, shouldest come to the world by my womb, such a jest would the surest confound. To her thought keen and grave, smiling answer he gave, as he planned lots of things to be done. Many stories he told of his deeds, new and old, that her love he might hold as her son. When her mind was thus swayed by this wonder, she said, my darling, give up this your guise. Play the baby again. Thus let love be made plain. No greater joy can you devise. When he heard this request, as he lay at her breast, as a baby, the Lord of all cried, who his praises repeat, as they kneel at his feet, shall o'er life's deepest depths safely ride. For the sake of the cows, Brahmins, immortals, and saints, human body Lord Rama has taken, though beyond all illusion, all limit, all sense, of his own will, that life he's forsaken. On hearing the sound of a wee baby crying, to see him the other queens quickly came flying. Their maidens ran here, there, and wildly excited. The whole of the city was greatly delighted. When King Dasarat heard that a son had been given, to him he rejoiced with the joy as of heaven. Love filling his mind and his body all thrilled. 'Twas not easy to rise, till his mind he had stilled. The one by whose name, he said, bliss is obtained, that great one to come to my dwelling has deigned. While thus the king's heart with his thankful joy bounded, he caused joyful music and songs to be sounded. For Vashist, his preceptor, he eagerly sent, and for others to share in the happy event. His gaze from the babe he could scarcely withdraw, whose beauty and promise showed never a flaw. The Nandimukh ancestor rite was gone through, and all other birthrights performed. By giving the Brahmins gold, cows, clothes, and jewels, the generous king, their hearts warmed. The city was bright with flags, arches, and banners of all kinds, and set up in various manners. Flowers rained down from heaven, defying all sadness, and all hearts were filled with a heavenly gladness. The women rose up and forth, eagerly fared, in bands themselves, first having fitly prepared, with bright omened gifts in gold salver and chalice, and singing gay songs, each group came to the palace. They offered their gifts as they circled around him, and humbly they fell at his feet where they found him. Bards, minstrels, and players, in choir and in drama, all sang the high praises and virtues of Rama. With generous heart, each on each gifts would heap. With generous heart, none the present would keep. They sprinkled musk, saffron, and sandalwood scent, and made the streets muddy wherever they went. His welcome was sung in each home with sweet music. The treasury of bliss has appeared. Among armies of women and men everywhere, happy sounds of rejoicing were heard. Kaikeyi and Sumitra also gave birth to sons of unusual beauty and worth. The people, their times, their joys were the finest, ere known, hard to tell, even by powers divinest. In Avad it seemed with such lavish provision, as though night had come in the hope of a vision of Rama, but seeing the sun she had veiled her beauty, and so it seemed evening prevailed. Around were dark clouds of thick incense and smoke, but from streaks of red powder it seems dawn had broke. Like bright stars and planets, the palace gems shone. Through clouds gleamed its pinnacles like the full moon. Within was the singing of Scripture's sweet words, at morn, noon, and eve, like the singing of birds. The sun, these things watching, his duties forgot. Unwitting, he stayed a whole month in one spot. The day was a month long, but nobody noted the marvel in mood so exalted. The night could not come when throughout all that time both the sun and his chariot were halted. None noticed the marvel, it caused no regret. Lord Rama's praise chanting, the sun at last set. The gods, saints, and serpents their happiness voicing, at sharing the festival went back rejoicing. Said Shiva, I know, Uma, your faithful soul. I'll tell how a place in these doings I stole. At the time I was there with Bushundi the crow, we both took man's form, so that no one might know. Our minds filled with rapturous joy and affection, we went through the city in every direction. He only such fortunate ways can embrace, on whom rests in fullness our Lord Rama's grace. The king at that season most generous gifts gave to all those who came to each what he would have. Equipages, elephants, horses, and cattle, fine jewels and clothing, and much precious metal. He pacified all men, and they in return prayed that each of the princes might pass his days full of blessing, that each night might live long those divine lords of poor Tulsidas. In this fashion, time soon passed quickly away, but no one took notice of night or day. In due time, the king the fit season proclaimed, and sent for Vashist, that the boys might be named. He welcomed the priest, paid him reverent dues, then asked him for each prince a fit name to choose. Said the priest, many wonderful names have these princes. To each I will give one that his traits evinces. He who is the ocean of joy, blessings treasure, by whose grace alone every realm finds true pleasure, in whom the whole world may in peacefulness bide, shall Rama be called, meaning bliss unalloyed. He who the whole universe feeds and supports, he shall be called Bharat, which bearer purports. Shatrugna means victor, by this men shall know, him whose mere thought and memory destroys every foe. Seat of all that's auspicious, the darling of Rama, in whom all find hope bright and sure. His name shall be Lakshman, which means happy fortune. Vashist thus gave names to the four. When thus he had named them, the saintly preceptor said, your sons, O king, are the essence of scripture, the saint's only wealth, Shiva's own precious joy, who himself finds delight in the pranks of a boy. From the first to Lord Rama was Lakshman obedient, and owned that to serve him was right and expedient. The others, Shatrugna and Bharat, adored, and served their big brother as elder and lord. In each pair, one dark and one fair, three mothers were proud. In each pair, one dark and one fair, the three mothers were proud, so broke grass to keep ill from their brothers. They all behaved nobly, were handsome and courteous. Of them all Rama was most loved and virtuous. Of them all, Rama was most loved and virtuous. Sorry. Like the moon's light was the love of his heart, which to all in sweet smile rays he sought to impart. At times in his cradle, at times on her breast, his mother, her darling, would fondle and rest. The Lord omnipresent, though passionless, infinite, and beyond pleasure lay yonder. Though unborn, he rested on Kaushalya's bosom, with love for love. That is the wonder. As dark as rain clouds or blue lotus with charms, of a myriad cupids he lay in her arms. His feet like red lilies hid little nails showing, like pearls on the petals, each milky and glowing. On each sole the flag, gold and thunderbolt print, and anklets whose tinkling would ravage a saint. A girdle of bells at his waist, three-lined dimple, and a navel so deep, if but seen, faith was simple.
Mark,
Yes.
everyone's. I mean, Madan's gone. We're going. How? I mean, does this section? How long does it go on? It's really. It's
Goes
like
on.
we're at 9:30 already. I'm getting.
Really? I've got no idea.
I know exactly. I could see, but I think that I kept thinking you're going to end now, and it just kept going and going and going.
I was waiting for someone to tell me. I thought someone was going to take over.
I thought that it was a Doha, a specific Doha, but you didn't say Doha, this Doha. You just kept reading, so I didn't realize anything really.
No. Shall I stop there then?
I think we should stop. I'm tired. I need
okay,
to
yeah, sure.
have a
Sorry,
break.
I really had no idea.
That's fine. Look, it was fantastic. I mean, you were in a trance.
Yeah, I think so.
We were, really. Okay, well, look. Jai Shri Ram. Jai Shri Ram. I'm going to stop the recording now.
Okay.